Hey guys, and welcome to a Dollar Tree Thanksgiving. And today it is here. Today I'm going to make Thanksgiving from all Dollar Tree items. I will be using some spices from my own house, but other than that, I'm using all Dollar Tree, guys, because I believe it can happen. I believe you can have a delicious Dollar Tree Thanksgiving. I'm excited to take you along with me for this magical ride into a Thanksgiving at the Dollar Tree. This is everything I purchased at Dollar Tree, and it cost me $19. My goal is to have a full Thanksgiving dinner, dessert, and an appetizer. So here's what I got. We're going with this deli-style roasted turkey breast because that's what they have for turkey. This is not my ideal turkey choice. If I were to do this, I would probably get the rest of the stuff because everything else looks really good and I'm excited to have it. And then I would purchase a turkey because turkeys are pretty inexpensive, so that would put you over the $20 mark, but I think it might be worth it in this case. So either way, I'm gonna probably heat this up and put some gravy over it, and we're just gonna make it work. For my appetizer, I decided to get a little bit of cocktail shrimp. I have gotten these before, they're not bad. I'm just gonna thaw them out in a little water. Obviously, if you have more people than just one or maybe two, you may want to get more of these. In this case, I really had planned on just kind of being able to serve myself and maybe a little bit of my family. There's definitely going to be more casseroles and whatnot. And I got this sparkling white grape juice because what's Thanksgiving without a little bubbly? And they sell those at the Dollar Tree, they're so cute. You could even put them, like if you got 4 of them, you could put them at the table or, you know, split them either way. They do not have cocktail sauce at the Dollar Tree, or at least the one I went to. So I got this hot and spicy ketchup. I'm hoping that this is going to be a good match for cocktail sauce and help me out with my shrimp. Also, for the appetizer section, I got these bagel chips, and this is reminding me, I actually spent $20. Ta-da! That makes it 20 bucks. I got this pepper jack cheese to go with these roasted garlic bagel chips. These are delicious. I can't wait to try them. So that's cheese and crackers, also for an appetizer. So far, we've got shrimp and cheese and crackers. And then I got some milk. That's going to go for our mashed potatoes and a couple other things. We got this classic pork sausage, which will be great for stuffing. I really wanted to get like some pepperoni, so I ended up with this little tiny Lunchable that has pepperoni, cheese, and crackers. So this will also go on our little appetizer platter. I found these Hawaiian rolls, which I thought were such a great deal. Nothing like having like a warm buttered roll with your Thanksgiving, but there was no stuffing at my Dollar Tree. I am ending up having to make stuffing out of these Hawaiian rolls, so I'm really excited to see how that turns out when I mix that with my sausage. Obviously, I got my margarine. I always want to tell you guys, margarine is cheaper at Walmart. It's $1 at the Dollar Tree, but it's 84 cents at Walmart, so just remember that. Don't always buy it there if you don't have to. And they had cranberry sauce, jellied. I'm like, this is perfect. My son is super excited about that. That's his favorite. He calls it that jelly stuff. Who doesn't love it? And I got some green beans because we're gonna make traditional green bean casserole. We also got some cream of mushroom, which was awesome. Turkey gravy. This is obviously gonna go over my turkey with my cranberry. They didn't have French fried onions, but they did have these onion flavored rings. So we're gonna make the best out of it and see if we can make a delicious green bean casserole with the onion flavored rings. Being resourceful, guys. And they always have this apple pie filling. I've never tried it before, so we're gonna try and zazz that up. Make our own pie crust with this flour and our margarine, and I think that is gonna turn out quite good. We're just gonna have a little bit of corn because that is a traditional Thanksgiving side, and some mashed potatoes because again, traditional. We're not going too crazy here. We're not going to try and make anything like completely out of the ordinary and wild. I just want to see if we can have a good old-fashioned Thanksgiving at the Dollar Tree. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is defrost my shrimp. In order to thaw the shrimp, just pour them into a bowl of cold water and let them sit. Eventually the ice will melt. The next thing I'm going to do is make my pie crust. So I want to get that pie in the oven so I cook it before I cook anything else. I love using a food processor for making my pie crust, but you absolutely don't have to. To make the crust, you're going to want to make a little bowl of ice water and then mix 1 teaspoon of salt with 3 cups of flour. Meanwhile, I have my butter chilling in the fridge. I'm going to take out 2 sticks of it and cut it into small squares. Place this in your food processor along with your flour. Then process until it almost forms a ball. It will get a lot harder and the food processor will seem like it's not really ready to cut it up anymore, and it'll be ready to form into a ball. It will have almost like a Play-Doh consistency. You can see how it's definitely going to mold together. Just going to put some flour out on my counters. If you see in the background, we have some construction going on. I am actually getting a new kitchen, which is very exciting. Something we've been looking into for a while. But because of that, I'm just going to roll this right out on my counter because I don't really care that much about my counter at this point. New countertops coming soon. You just want to roll it into a ball, but you really don't want to over process it, right? We want to make sure that that butter stays nice and cold and everything stays flaky. I'm just going to cut it into two and then roll it out to, I would say, about 1/8 of an inch. It's really, really small, maybe a 1/16 of an inch. Just think about like a regular Pillsbury pie crust that you'd buy at the store. You want yours to be just about the same. So once it's rolled out, I'm going to show you a fun little trick. Just put your rolling pin in the middle and then roll your pie dough over it so that it actually hangs onto your rolling pin. This allows you to just roll it back out onto your pie plate. I'm using a tart plate because I only bought 1 jar of the apple pie filling, and that makes about 1/2 of a full-size pie. So I'm just using a little tart plate because I'm making a much smaller apple pie than I would if I had bought 2 of the apple pie fillings. If you're trying to serve more people, by all means, you're going to have plenty of dough, so go ahead and buy that second can to make the full pie. Just rolling out my second piece of dough, and I'm going to use a pizza cutter to cut the dough into strips in order to make a lattice topping. If you want to, you can just put a full piece over the pie. It just depends on your preference. So I'm just going to put my apple pie filling into my tart pan in the bottom here. I did decide I would add a little bit more cinnamon, and then if I had it, I would have added some lemon. I love lemon in my pie. If you watch my lattice technique here, I'm going to go side to side putting the lattice on. I find that this is the most efficient way for me to be able to follow through on a lattice topping. If I did one side all at once and then try to add everything after, I do tend to get a little bit lost there, so I feel like just adding one side or one piece to each side at a time is the easiest way for me to make my lattice topping. So here I did just decide to add on like a little turkey in the middle of my pie. When you have extra pie dough, it's always fun to just play around with little shapes and see what you can do. I even used the cap of the milk to try and make the body of the turkey. It turned out pretty cute and was definitely worth putting on there. Just always fun to make everybody happy and to take a look at it and say, oh, look at that. And then with the pie, I do put a little bit of aluminum foil around the edge of the crust. I know there are like fancy pie crust savers out there, but I find that aluminum foil works just fine. Next thing I'm going to make is our green bean casserole. So we're just going to pour our green beans into a casserole container, maybe a smaller one. Had I had 2 cans, that would have totally worked, but I just need a little smaller one. So I'm making half the recipe. So I'm just using half the can of cream mushroom, a 1/4 cup of milk, and then some of these French fried onion ring things. So I'm just gonna kind of break them up with my hands, kind of just got in there and made it work, and then mix everything around. This is gonna end up cooking in the oven at 350 for like 20 minutes. but I'm just making it ahead of time because I want to have our appetizers in a little bit. Just want this to be ready to pop in the oven when I'm ready to cook on the stove. Just adding a little bit of fresh pepper at the end, and this is ready to cook. Next thing I'm going to do is make our stuffing. So I'm using 3 of my Hawaiian rolls. I am going to save 3 of them for myself and my kids to eat with our dinner. And I'm just going to cut them up into little squares, like little stuffing squares. If you have more people coming, absolutely buy a second bag of the Hawaiian rolls, or I even think it would be better and more cost effective to just buy a loaf of bread. I think you get a lot of stuffing out of that, and you know what, just have a couple slices of toast. So here I'm just measuring out to see how much bread I actually have because I want to break down my recipe. I did link the recipe that I based this on below. I'm just going to use 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm just going to melt this up in a pan, and then add a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and a half a teaspoon of onion powder. I'm putting this in for like 2 seconds. I just want my butter to mix up with this and kind of get that little toasted flavor. The recipe calls for fresh, but obviously we don't have that. And then I'm just mixing it into my stuffing cubes. Next thing I'm going to do is cook up my pork. I would say that if you're going to buy any meat at the dollar store, this is it. This is 100% pork sausage. It's really good stuff. Just cooks up wonderfully. It tastes really good. You would never know you got it at the Dollar Tree. And it was perfect for this recipe. My stuffing did end up being very sausage heavy, I guess you could say, but I thought it was delicious. Here I'm just going to add about a teaspoon of salt to my stuffing, then some parsley, about a 1/4 teaspoon, sage, again a 1/4 teaspoon, and rosemary, a 1/4 teaspoon. This is a very small portion of stuffing, so you really don't need too many herbs. Then we're going to add the sausage into the stuffing mix, all of the fat in there. That is part of what makes the stuffing delicious. You want all of that pork fat. I'm going to mix this up and then add about 1/8 cup of water. So I do need a little bit more moisture in my stuffing. The recipe calls for chicken broth, but we don't have it, so we're just going to add a little bit of water just to moisten it up. With about 10 minutes left on your pie, you want to pull the sides with the aluminum foil off so that the crust can bake. I picked the same casserole dish as I'm using for the green bean casserole to cook my stuffing. I'm just buttering the sides and then pouring it in. Once I put the green bean casserole in, it's going to be time to put the stuffing in as well. So far, I've made the stuffing and my green bean casserole. I'm setting aside my turkey and my mashed potatoes, as well as my corn, cranberry sauce, and turkey gravy because it's time for some appetizers. So I'm just going to get the appetizers ready, and I know that when we are done eating those, I can get all of this in the oven and start cooking everything else I need to on the stove. For appetizers, I got this cheddar jack cheese, so I am just going to slice it up. I had an idea. I was like, why don't we make a beautiful turkey display for our cheese platter? At the last minute here, I was like, that bowl is far too large to be the turkey body. So I just put my hot and spicy ketchup in the smaller bowl and then added the shrimp all around. Doesn't look exactly like a turkey, but kind of get the picture. I feel like it's still very festive.
Got that from the store?
Needless to say, the appetizers were a huge hit. Everybody loved them. Now it's finally time to make our meal. So I'm just adding water and butter per the package instructions for our mashed potatoes. I'm just going to heat the corn up until it boils. That is what the can says to do. And I'm also warming up the turkey gravy. Once everything is boiling in that pot, I'm going to add 2 cups of the potato flakes, which is for 4 servings. If you're having more people, make larger servings. There is plenty of margarine and plenty of milk to make as many mashed potatoes as you want out of what you already purchased. Just going to mix this up and we have our mashed potatoes. They are super simple and they're actually really, really good. In order to cook the turkey, I'm just putting a little bit of butter in a pan and then I'm just going to like pan fry it. You could serve it cold if you wanted to, but I kind of wanted like a warm turkey so I could put some gravy over it and just make it a whole thing. Tasted really good like this. I was honestly really, really impressed. Like I thought I was going to be like, ew, deli turkey is this side for our meal, but I liked it. I kind of am not against it. And here is the slicing of the cranberry sauce. I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I mean, you gotta watch it. It's beautiful. And if you let me know if you're a canned jellied cranberry sauce fan or a homemade or the other stuff. I like both, but there is a special place in my heart for that canned jellied cranberry sauce. So off comes some of the turkey. I'm just gonna put a little bit of butter on top of my corn and final touches, adding the onions on top of my green bean casserole. Everything looks really good. This is our entire meal here, and I'll say it later, but I know that you could probably serve 4 people very comfortably with this food. Maybe buy one more thing of turkey and you would be in good shape. This makes a lot of food for $20. It's mealtime. Cheers, guys. Bud, you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
No, thank you.
All right, guys. Like, for real though, that was a lot of work in a short period of time, and it was delicious. And I wanted to show you guys what I had left. So you saw us all eating there. I had plenty of food. The kids had plenty of food. Dan had something different, but I should have just given him this. I think he would have enjoyed it, so I should have given it to him. But I just wanted to show you guys what I have left here. A bunch of cranberry sauce, about half a thing of the stuffing, more than half a thing of the green bean casserole because the kids wouldn't eat that. Quite a bit of mashed potatoes. We've got gravy. And then I do have a little bit of these bagel chips, like barely any, but you could make breadcrumbs from them. And then the same thing with these. So that makes me think, add those together, food processor, make some breadcrumbs and then bread some chicken or something. I don't know. I have about a pound of flour left, 1 stick of margarine, quite a bit of corn, and then I only made 4 servings of the mashed potatoes. So I still have 7 servings left, quite a bit. So there's quite a bit of mashed potatoes left. There's quite a bit of milk, like over half the container here. I have half the container of the mushroom soup and even a slice of turkey. So I have some ideas what we could do with leftovers here. Oh, I also wanted to say, I think that with this meal, like especially maybe buy one more package of the turkey, or maybe two, whatever. You can definitely feed 4 people. You could probably feed close to 6 people. You know, you just add a couple extra things, but that's quite a lot of food and quite a lot of, you know, feeding people for just $20. So you can do a lot at the Dollar Tree. This guy here was really good. Like I don't even know, like I don't really know what French fried onions are, if they're any different than these onion rings here, but this tasted like any other green bean casserole I've ever had. It was awesome. And then really like this with the sausage. If you had more bread, or even if you have stuffing, like they should, I feel like the Dollar Tree usually does have stuffing, but mine just did not. And then ideas of what to make with the leftovers. My mind always goes shepherd's pie, chicken pot pie. So because I have extra mashed potatoes, I'm like, definitely can make shepherd's pie. You could make potato pancakes and then even have that like with an egg or something. I also have all this corn left. So I was like, with what you have here, I think you can make corn chowder. Like you could make a corn chowder, especially if it was like with the creamy potatoes. You could even put the potato in there. I think that's an option. Those are my ideas. But what I'm going to ask you guys to do is put some ideas in the comments below. You guys have the best frugal ideas that I've ever seen. Like I'm so impressed all the time going into comments, and just some things that I just never would even think of that are just so genius and so obvious and so smart. So I just want to see more. So I'm going to encourage you guys to go down in the comments and say what you would do with the leftovers here. And maybe I'll end up making something on Instagram with one of your recommendations. Check it out. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and do that too. And then I can pick one of the ideas and make something for you guys, just to show you what we got, show you what we can do with things, show you how to be frugal and reuse what you have. All right, friends, that concludes Dollar Tree Thanksgiving. If you like my hat, I got it at the Christmas tree shop like years ago, but they always have the cutest little ones there, so I recommend it. If you like this video, obviously thumbs up for this, thumbs up for the Dollar Tree Thanksgiving. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get more videos like this. I'm gonna pop another Dollar Tree Extreme Grocery Budget Challenge up here for you that you can check out, because if you like this, you probably like Extreme Grocery Budget Challenges, and you probably like shopping at the Dollar Tree. So I have more of those, I have more coming. You wanna be here for it. I know you don't wanna miss it. I'm so happy that you are here, and I will see you guys soon.